Every week I start off this show when I'm hosting. Thank God it's Friday. Sometimes that really, really fits. Okay. Sometimes it doesn't. But in this particular case, it definitely does. It's been a long week. Hi, everybody. I'm Jimmy Young, the founder of Pro Cannabis Media and today's host of Green Rush Live. One of the nation's longest running live business talk shows all about the cannabis industry. We've been doing this now for over a year on Fridays, and we're always so proud to have a great group of guests that join us to chit chat about what is going on in the world of cannabis business. Well, we've got one here today. His name is Morris Beegle, and he's a return guest. That's right. He's a return guest because he's been with us before. I'm pretty sure, Morris, you were involved with our program that we called Cannabis Chat back in the day, in the fall of 2020. Does that sound accurate? Just go along with it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And I think I was on your In the Weeds with Jimmy Young as well.
It's that Jimmy Young show again. Yeah, within the weeds.
Is.
Absolutely. And I appreciate that. And I know he would too. All right. So let's give you a little intro. Let me tell you who you are, just in case you didn't know. You are the Hemp King. What do you think?
I don't know about that, but
I'm in the hemp
industry.
All right. You are the president and co-founder of We Are for Better Alternatives, WAFBA, the co-founder and producer of the Southern Hemp Expo, the NoCo Hemp Expo, and you are also a podcast host and publisher of Let's Talk Hemp. Did I get them all?
And we've got Silver Mountain Hemp Guitars, which is right behind me.
Yeah, I noticed quite a few guitars there. Maybe before you leave, you might give us a little riff, maybe going out to the break at the end of the half hour. Is that something you'd be willing to do?
We'll have to see. I pulled a guitar over here, but it's out of tune. I'm getting ready to, this is made out of industrial hemp right here.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. Let me ask you, are all the things that you wear and do made out of hemp?
Often, but unfortunately this shirt is not and this hat is not, but I did have a hemp shirt and hat on yesterday. I should have worn it for today's episode, but I didn't. I was just feeling rock and roll here.
Right. I get it. Rock and roll and we'd go hand in hand. That's the way I look at it. I do want to ask you, you have an event coming up. I want to make sure we talk about it right off the top because it's in Nashville, Tennessee. And with the guitars behind you, I'm really going out on a limb thinking that music played a role in this, or was Nashville picked for another reason?
No, it played a role because I come from the music industry. And when I started NoCo Hemp Expo, it's like Colorado's a great place. And where else can I have cool expos and conferences? And Nashville, which I had participated in my music business days, it's like Nashville's a great place. They've also got a good hemp scene and a good hemp program, and they're welcoming to the hemp industry. And then we've also done Hawaii as well. So it's like Colorado, Nashville, Hawaii. Those were kind of where we planted our initial flags.
There you go. And the hemp world has been in the news more lately, and it's no fault of the industry. I want to make sure you hear that right away from me, because I don't approve of what's been going on in Washington, D.C. about a lot of things, but particularly of trying to figure out how to regulate the hemp industry. And there's a lot of controversy as you look at the issues about the FDA and infusion, about Delta 8 now being derived from hemp. What are some of the biggest challenges that you think the industry faces?
Well, getting it regulated by the FDA has been probably the biggest challenge that we've had. And I think it was pretty clear when we passed the Farm Bill in 2018 that Trump signed. Not that he had anything to do with it, because he really didn't. And it's not like Trump was supporting industrial hemp. He just signed the Farm Bill that happened to federally legalize industrial hemp in all parts of the plant, all derivatives, all cannabinoids. And what that did was it threw the ball into the FDA's court, where they should have regulated CBD as a dietary supplement and a food and beverage additive. And that is yet to happen. And because of this, it's affected the revenue of our industry and the investment in our industry by billions and billions and billions of dollars. And it also has created this new channel of synthesized cannabinoids, including Delta 8, THCO, HHC, and all these other letters that are coming out. It's like, where the hell did all this stuff come from? I don't even know what you're talking about. And that was never it really wasn't the intent of the hemp industry to have all of these now synthesized derivatives that are intoxicating. But are they legal? Well, we're getting rulings around the country in different states. And so, you know what? This is legal. And it's like, it just makes it more complicated for fiber and grain, so we can build hemp guitars and build houses and make bioplastics and have good nutritious food and superfoods and so forth. All of a sudden now we're dealing with all the synthesized cannabinoids that get you intoxicated, and the marijuana industry doesn't like that. And so big cannabis has been throwing crap all over the hemp industry because it's like, hey, that's our space, you can't do that. Oh, now you've got Delta 9 derived hemp products that have 5 milligrams and 10 milligrams. That's too much. And they're pissing all over us, and we don't like that. And so it's just creating all this controversy and divisiveness between us. And it's like, man, this sucks.
Yeah. It's tough to be in that industry when you really don't know what the rules are, right?
Right. It's like Wild West here. And I got into it because I want to make hemp t-shirts and hemp paper and build houses and hemp guitars and have good hemp superfoods, and we could have food for animals, and we can have dietary supplements that are very healthy and nutritious that we should be taking to help regulate our endocannabinoid system. But here we are, and I do throw the blame primarily on the FDA. The FDA has dropped the ball, and a lot of it, I don't know if they've dropped the ball or they're just saying, hey, pharmaceutical industry, we're doing your bidding, and we know we just want to kick the can down the road, and you guys position yourselves so you can control cannabinoids like you really want to. And then you've got big food out there, corn and soy, that's like, hey, put the brakes on. We don't want to have animal feed made from industrial hemp, even though that's generally recognized as safe. It's great human food, but yet we don't know if animals should eat it or not because there's not enough studies done. It's like, that is absolute total bullshit.
Right. Well, that's good. I knew that that's exactly the word you should be using, by the way.
It's bullshit. And it's the FDA, and they can go F themselves.
Yes. All right. I get it. Yes. And so let me ask you, this is an interesting question as you're talking about all these challenges that are and delays being caused by federal organizations. You think that's on purpose?
Yes, I do. And I don't think it's a Republican thing or a Democratic thing. I think it's their thing.
And
they're all guilty.
I will definitely remember here in Massachusetts when the adult use bill, question passed the ballot box in 2016, and our Republican governor, even though we're a pretty liberal state in Massachusetts, Governor Charlie Baker said, let's take our time here. Let's make sure we crawl before we walk, before we run, which, by the way, is okay. I get that. And he did appoint the right people, or at least a group of people that put out these regulations from scratch. And we have a vibrant market for both cannabis and hemp here in Massachusetts. However, it's that delay tactic. And to me, this is an injustice. This is not fair. This is not fair to the people that have put their money in. This is not fair to the farmers who then, I can't tell you how many times I've heard farmers complain that they've got all this hemp and they don't know what to do with it now.
Right. Well, what they've done with it is they've shifted it over to folks who then turn it into Delta 8. And I think that that's good, because it's like we don't want to screw the farmers, and the farmers have a bad taste in their mouth because of this. And now that we want to grow fiber and grain, there's just a lot of people that don't want to be in the hemp industry because of these delay tactics that have happened. And again, I throw it back on the FDA, and there's other players involved there behind them, pharmaceutical industry, big food. And, I'm sure there's others that we're not even sure who it is, big cannabis as well. But
let me ask you a question. Shouldn't hemp be regulated by the U.S. Agricultural Division rather than the FDA?
Well, it is from a growing standpoint. And the USDA has, really, they're actually, I'm not going to throw them under the bus at this point, because I think that they're trying to do the right thing. And the FDA has, these alphabet agencies don't see eye to eye on a lot of stuff. And maybe there is stuff behind the scenes and that they do see eye to eye, and I'm just ignorant and naive to it on some of it. But they are trying to do things where they're trying to provide what they consider realistic regulations, which I don't think we're quite there yet. And hopefully with the new farm bill that'll be coming out next year, we make an adjustment from 0.3% to 1%. So we don't have to destroy any crops. Farmers have less risk there. But farmers shouldn't be having FBI checks. They shouldn't have to test this crop and spend thousands of dollars. Why would I want to grow hemp when I can grow corn and soy and wheat, and I don't have to jump through all these hoops and spend all this money and make less money? It's like, it should be very easy for them to grow this, because it should be a commodity crop that can go into all these different industries, whether that's the paper industry, the automotive industry, the textiles industry, the construction industry. And that's what we're growing it for. It shouldn't be different than any other crop.
Right. Aren't those the same industries, by the way, that prohibited cannabis back in 1937?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I know.
Look, to me, they are trying to do everything they can to make it as difficult as possible to have this industry. And I say this, and the plant is a cannabis plant. It's hemp, but it's a cannabis plant. And they're doing everything they possibly can to retard the launch, the growth of the industry. And I give the people that are in the industry a lot of credit, because they're not getting the return on the investment that they expected because of these delays, because of this bureaucracy in the federal government down in Washington, D.C. And again, I keep going back to it. It's unfair. I don't understand. I don't think these legislators, any legislature, but all of them, throw them all under the bus as far as I'm concerned, really understood what they were doing when they were passing that first farm bill, and didn't understand what a cannabinoid was from a cat, for crying out loud. They had no clue, right? And they just did. They were only concerned is, well, that one over there, that drug, it's a plant. That drug, gets you high. It gets you intoxicated. And then, of course, the scientists explain, well, that's true. However, it has hundreds of these little chemicals in it called cannabinoids. And you don't actually have to have a lot of THC to create a good cannabinoid like a CBD or a CBN or a CBG and actually build an industry around it. Right?
Exactly. For sure. No question.
So if I understand
Going back to it, they mission accomplished on their part for making it very difficult for this industry at this point.
Let me ask you a question. And I read 30 newsletters a week. I try to keep up on as much other news as possible about the industry and other industries. And I just wonder, how long can it last? I mean, how long can they sustain any growth, even if it's infinitesimal growth? And I don't mean about the amount of crops, but I mean actually building a business with getting better return on your investment, better return on your crops. They're doing an injustice to a billion-dollar industry.
Well, hundreds of billions of dollars. Whitney Economics, Bo Whitney, who I don't know if you've ever had on your show before.
Yes, we have. Yep.
And Bo's put out some great data about, if we had 2% of this industry, 5% of this industry, 3% of this, where we'd have a $350 billion industry of industries that we can put our materials right into and just take a sliver of. And all of a sudden, our industry is way bigger than the adult use industry. It's ridiculous. And none of it's intoxicating. All of it's health and wellness and environmentally eco-conscious materials that's going to green up almost any company that's out there that's trying to help their ESG rating moving forward. And the ESG thing has got its own controversy, but it's a thing and it's going to continue to be a thing. And hemp can help with all of that.
Yeah. And I just don't know. And now because you've got Delta 8 out there, and by the way, if I remember correctly, Texas, has Delta 8. Texas has Delta 8 legalized, right? So,
Correct.
so the politicians that were afraid of the other plant with that THC that gets you intoxicated, it completely backfired because now in their state, okay, you could get a Delta 8 product and get high from it.
Right. And they just outlawed the smokable flower, at least growing it there, but they can still sell it there. I mean, and Delta 8 may not be legal today. That's the thing. They flip-flopped all over the place. I think that there's still stores selling it. They're not just selling CBD and full spectrum stuff. They're selling Delta 8 and HHC and all of the other derivatives, which you've got courts ruling different ways on this across the country. You got the Ninth Circuit Court saying, hey, it's legal. It's a derivative based on the Farm Bill, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, okay.
But, but the people that are making the rulings don't understand the chemistry.
Exactly.
So before they even talk about it, there needs to be some education. There needs to be, and look, in my soul, I'm an educator. I'm actually going back to teach again this fall, one night a week, and I'm really looking forward to it at Curry College. But I just don't understand how the elected officials, okay, that the people put in place are just not motivated to learn more. It's almost like a necessary evil weed for them to actually learn about, and they don't want to. And again, it goes back to the stigma of the other plant, right?
Well, agreed. But there are some legislators out there and government officials that do care and have been advocates for this, particularly our governor, Jared Polis, here in Colorado.
Yep.
And while not everybody agrees with some of his positions, I give credit to Jared for understanding both sides of the plant or all sides of the plant and doing a good job as being a navigator and working with the legislators, working with all the stakeholders on the hemp side, the cannabis side, and we all don't agree, but he understands. He's a smart guy, and he's taken the time to understand. And there's other guys in Oregon, and there's different people out there that do it, but they're an anomaly in our system.
I'm not sure you saw the news item about the state of New Jersey.
What is Chris Christie back?
No, that wasn't the news. Okay.
Okay.
It had to do with interstate commerce. Excuse me. Pardon me. I didn't mean to do that into the microphone. Okay. It had to do with interstate commerce, that they see an opportunity to do business with other states outside of the borders of New Jersey with hemp products and cannabis sativa products. And a lot of people, we've actually had a whole show on this within the last year. I'm going on a limb. I knew it was within the last year, on the fact that there's actually this clause that exists that one business law professor argues they can do interstate commerce right now, according to this clause that was back in the 1920s. It had something to do with the New York harbor and moving from New York to New Jersey on the water. And anyway, I wish I could spew all the little details that we had, but what effect is that going to have when the interstate commerce officially begins on that industry, on hemp?
Well,
you can do it now, can't you?
Yeah, we can do it now all over the place. When it happens with adult use cannabis, then it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Law enforcement needs to be educated. And I truly believe law enforcement doesn't want to waste their time on this. They know that this should be at the bottom of their food chain when it comes to dealing with the things that they need to deal with to make sure that they are proper peace officers and taking care of their communities. I don't want to throw cops under the bus. There's bad cops out there that are jerks, and they shouldn't be on the force.
And they're good ones, and they're good ones too.
There's a lot of good ones. I mean, the vast majority, but if you have 5% that are bad and you've got 1 million cops out there, that's 50,000 cops.
Right. Well, we do know that there's been some punishment to police officers over the last couple of years. So at least the justice system in that department is working. And I know we just passed the magic 420 time. So if you're out there watching and you'd like to partake, just tell me what state you're in. We already have Wisconsin and Alabama checking in on the chat room, which I think is wild. We usually have people from Arkansas and Washington State and all that. But let's get back to hemp. I'm going to make you the hemp czar.
The hemp czar. I would be a good hemp czar. I would be just, I would be fair, and I would work across all aisles. And there should be more than 2 aisles. That's another thing that's just crazy as F.
No,
I just say crazy as fuck, because there's multiple aisles, and there should be. That way we all come together and we share ideas. We don't have to agree on everything, but hopefully in the end we come to a reasonable conclusion and understanding, and we can proceed forward.
No, there's way too much finger pointing, middle finger pointing sometimes too, at both sides of the aisle. And just because one political party says one thing, the other political party thinks they're obligated to say the exact opposite. And our country is getting more and more split up. If you don't think we're having a cold civil war right now, you haven't been paying attention, right? And I just thought that America, the whole idea of America was to open up your mind, share your thoughts. Don't be afraid of doing that, and find common ground with your neighbor who may not look like you. He may not even be in the same political party as you or the socioeconomic class. That's what this country has to do. And we're not doing it. And cannabis and hemp are perfect examples of it. It's very frustrating.
It is frustrating. And all I know is we are for better alternatives. And our platform is to bring diversity, bring a variety of different ideas together, all walks of life, whether you're straight, gay, bi, tri, Christian, Jew, atheist, Muslim, black, white, brown, green,
one family of humanity.
Exactly. We are one fam. We're all humans. We're all citizens of the earth. And can we just be respectful to each other? We don't have to agree on everything, but you know what? We all want to have families and take care of our own and just be kind.
It would be nice to just be kind. I agree with that too. We've got Oklahoma checking in now too. So I want to give you another chance to give a plug to your show coming up in Nashville, and how people down that way or can check it out online and see what's down there, and maybe take in some music and go to your hemp show. Give us another plug. Tell us how they can find out about it.
All right. We're going into the 4th annual Southern Hemp Expo in Nashville. It's next weekend. It's the 19th and the 20th of August. SouthernHempExpo.com. We've got a business conference on Friday. We've got a farm symposium on Saturday. We've got an expo hall that's open both days. Tons of vendors, all aspects of hemp, food, CBD, Delta 8, building materials, bioplastic, hemp guitars. And we've got live music. We've got food tastings. We've got lots of cool things going on. And we've got a great group of speakers coming out. And we've got an after party at the 5 spot in East Nashville, live music, throwing down Nashville style. It's going to be a great time.
It is, and everybody's chomping at the bit to get out of their little pandemic hangover and get out and party again. And hopefully the heat has gone down a little bit in the South.
It's supposed to be 83 to 85 degrees during our show, which is fine. It's not 95 degrees. So we're looking at good weather next week.
Or more, it was actually in triple digits a lot down the South and for a long time. And now at least things are easing up a little bit. Hey, Morris Beegle, if they want to sign up for your newsletter and follow you, how do they do that? Give yourself a plug.
Well, go to letstalkhemp.com. That's our media platform. You can find out about Southern Hemp Expo, NOCO Hemp Expo, everything that I'm doing. We've got a newsletter that goes out every week. We curate news from all over the world. We put out our own editorial content, and we try to keep people informed, not only about hemp, but happenings in cannabis as well.
Well, that is awesome. I wish you the best of luck. Hope you have a lot of success with your show down there, and I know you'll check in on a regular basis. You're welcome here, Morris, anytime you want to talk hemp.
All right. Well, thank you, Jimmy. You do an awesome job. Keep educating the masses on all sides of the plant, and yeah, keep strong.
I
We're
will.
fighting the good fight.
I appreciate it. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to talk with two guys that are educators that are in colleges educating young people about the future of this industry. So don't go away. Green Rush Live continues after this.
Weed Talk and In the Weeds are two productions of Pro Cannabis Media supported by Revolutionary Clinics, one of the top medical cannabis dispensaries in the Massachusetts area, now with 3 locations in Greater Boston, 2 in Cambridge and 1 on Broadway in Somerville. Rev Clinics has a patient-first mission. They will customize your needs as a medical patient with the proper titration and combination of strains, flavors, and products. Rev Clinics, where the patient comes first.
Hey, you want to grow your own plants? Check out Style Lighting's Grow Kit. It has everything you need to become an expert home grower and bring the power of the sun indoors. Style Lighting uses TCP's high-powered commercial LEDs that deliver twice the output in the market. The Grow Kit has a grow bag, a timer, chains to hang the light, and of course the best in the business lighting system by TCP. Check out stylelighting.shop for more information.
Pro Cannabis Media programming is available live and on demand on our Facebook page at Pro Canna Media, on Instagram at Pro Cannabis Media, on LinkedIn also at Pro Cannabis Media, on YouTube and YouTube Live on Pro Cannabis Media, Twitter at Pro Canna Media, and on twitch.tv/Pro Cannabis Media. So like, share, and subscribe to all of our content, newsletters, and shows live or on demand